Fresh from the showcase here with SwissWatchExpo.com, we are featuring today's crazy different models, although they look extraordinarily similar. We've got the Rolex Oysterquartz, and we've also got the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak series. And the reason we're focusing on this is because the design is very similar, and what we should also point out is that the bracelets are curiously alike.
Interesting.
Yeah. Any questions? Because there's a lot.
What is that?
Yeah.
Why do they look so much alike?
So in 1971, the Royal Oak was introduced into the world as the savior of Audemars Piguet. Now, one of the things that people ask about a lot is, what does the Royal Oak mean? Why do they call it the Royal Oak? It was named after the British Royal Navy fleet of ships, which were also, there were 12 ships apparently in the fleet, if I've not got my numbers wrong. There is a name of that fleet, the Royal Oak, because apparently King Charles and a hollowed out Royal Oak and a whole history of things, and I'm a terrible history buff, so we're going to skip that.
Sounds like something you can look at and tell us in the comments section on the video.
Absolutely. I'm not interested in going into that history. Nonetheless, that's where the idea of Royal Oak came from.
Okay.
But more importantly, because of the octagonal shape, it was a porthole sort of naval influence design. And some people have some strong, curious opinions about the Genta design,
You know,
Mike.
This is, I guess, one of those examples of why they make 31 flavors of ice cream. We don't have to all like the same thing. I love octagonal shapes in general. But
They make great stop signs.
They make great stop signs. But for some reason, Genta's designs don't resonate with me. And, you know, it's okay to not like something even if the whole watch world is crazy about it.
Sure.
I really appreciate the artistry, the design, the patterns, the technical excellence of the watches.
Right.
I just don't like them.
Yeah, well, that's a strong opinion. I hear that all the time. And that's true of the Oysterquartz as well, because the Oysterquartz was actually introduced to the world in 1979. We've talked about this before. It was not a watch that sold a lot. In fact, there's a rumor, and again, this goes back to those Rolex rumors, that 25,000 to 35,000 watches were produced over the years, most of which sold in Europe. The United States did not see a lot of these being sold, and it just wasn't that popular of a watch. To your point, the Genta design is very controversial. It appeared in the IWC Ingenieur and so on. So when Genta designed these watches, it had to have some sort of a flavor of difference throughout the years. So what changed across all the different versions of watches, from the Ingenieur to the Royal Oak to the Oysterquartz, was the bracelet. In 1971, this design, and I'm picking up one here that's made out of tantalum, which is a mineral that is actually on the periodic table. It looks like a combination of things. It looks like titanium, but it has the weight of gold. It's extraordinarily heavy. And this is a mid-size watch. We just sold, and I was getting it prepared for the video, we had a ladies version that was the smaller, I believe it was a 28 millimeter. It was here such a short time, I didn't even get a chance to learn a lot about it.
I think we had it for less than a week.
Right. And so that one's gone, unfortunately. But the tantalum comes in two different designs. They're very, very hard to find. They do have the 18 karat gold center links. As you can see here, this has kind of got a bluish gray look to it. The octagonal design. This is the stainless steel version of the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. This comes in multiple different sizes, multiple different calibers. Argue about all the different things that Royal Oaks bring to the table. The most important thing is how this bracelet's designed. This was the very first iteration, and what people ask, and the question that was brought up to us is, why do the bracelets look so similar? They're similarly shaped, they're similarly tapered, there's so much that's alike.
Almost seems like the same person designed them both.
Kind of. It also seems like there might be a bit of patent infringement from one or the other too, but there's not. The Royal Oak bracelet, if you're familiar with machining processes, if you're machining metals of any kinds, if you're stamping things out, these bracelets are made in multiple different links. So the center link, the long link, is one stamped item, and then each one of the links that connect the two are two different stamped items.
Oh man, so they're not interchangeable from link to link.
They are not.
Wow.
And so you have screws on the removable links here, And the design of this bracelet is precise from one link to the next. There's no chunkiness. If you slide your hand down the side of the bracelet, you'll notice it's very, very smooth. It doesn't drop down. It doesn't stair step. It's a very slim design. Every single thing is done by hand. Everything. So these links are hollow. They're slid onto a little wire that looks like a skewer. Okay. Then they're hand brushed. They're hand sanded. They're hand ground, and even the clasp on this model is hand punched. But when you get to the one that I'm wearing here, this has a unique feature. You see how it says AP?
Yes.
That's hand stamped too. Everything is done by hand, 100%, no machines whatsoever. Now, why is that important? Because when you get into this particular model, when they go to assemble this, they actually put a slug. I'm calling it a slug, it's more like a pin, a solid pin through the hollow center of this watch. They actually extend out. It looks very sloppy when they do it. They push them through. They're actually welded into place. They're electrically welded. Each center link is hand done. Then they take it to a machine while the bracelet looks a complete mess. They put it up to a sander and they grind down the edges, and they get it to this smooth style just like this. That's why it's so even. You could never break these links. It's just you don't remove them. It's not like some other gold links or something like that where you could have a jeweler do it. There's nothing you can do. Once this bracelet is assembled, it's there forever. And that's how they get that hand polished, hand satin finished style on that bracelet. It's absolutely amazing to watch. The porthole design, the screws are all patented. There's multiple patents on this watch. Getting to the Oyster Quartz, completely different model and methodology of how this watch is made. It has the traditional Rolex flip clasp, right? It has links that are also solid formed from the backside, but the way that these links were originally produced is that they were folded over and then welded and then polished together. So the way that this particular link works is completely different from how this link works, although they look very, very similar, and the design is very similar. So 1971, this watch sort of surprises me because the bracelet looks like something you would produce today. It looks very, very modern. 1971.
Right.
You wouldn't expect
50 years ago.
Right. It's absolutely amazing. The Audemars Piguet Royal Oak was considered the savior of AP, and the Oyster Quartz from Rolex, not so much. Interestingly, we've talked about this before within the patterning of watches. Oyster Quartz came out because the idea was quartz watches were going to save the Swiss world. Absolutely not true for Rolex whatsoever. So, unique design, unique bracelet, completely different. They look similar. They're designed and assembled completely differently, and there's no patent infringements allegedly. I guess it's hard to when you have the same guy designing the same bracelet, for one company against the other, right? Right. So we just wanted to give you an idea of what these watches look like. They come in a lot of different colors, as you say, a lot of different flavors. This was a particularly interesting piece to me because it has the gold dial with the gold bezel. You don't see that style much. You feel like you do because you see it in a lot of advertisements, but in reality there's not a lot. They're super, super thin. They're a quartz design. It's just a great watch. And of course, the Oyster Quartz is becoming a cult icon favorite. It's also manufactured in the solid gold pieces. The bracelets look a lot different though. They look more like the president flattened out. So just a lot of things to know about the Oyster Quartz and the Royal Oak. I hope that answers a lot of questions. SwissWatchExpo.com. Argue about it in comments below. Let us know if you know something we don't. We'll be happy to entertain. And hopefully we'll see you again fresh from the showcase, SwissWatchExpo.com.